The new Fujifilm X100VI is an absolute work of art. Such a beautiful camera body. So, should you leave it bare or rig it out? I'm going to show you a couple different accessories that you may be considering for your own X100VI. That way you can decide whether or not they're worth it. I bought some of these parts myself and some of them were sent to me from SmallRig, but they didn't pay me to say any of this or see the video before posting. So I'll be brutally honest about what I like and dislike. Personally, I love the look of this camera all on its own, and that's how I usually use it. But I do love rigging out my cameras. The first thing I wanted to add to this camera was just a simple screen protector, because usually I'm running with this camera completely bare on a shoulder strap and it's just resting up against my shirt or my jacket, so it's definitely prone to getting some scratches. So I bought this screen protector on Amazon. I think it was about 10 to 15 bucks. I'll link it down below. But it's just a piece of tempered glass and I haven't even installed it yet. I just haven't had time, and so I gotta do it right now because I'll definitely cry if I get some bad scratches on this. Okay, I grabbed a couple extra things for cleaning the back of the screen. It does come with a couple wipes that are labeled wet and dry, so I will give those a try as well. But first, I'm just gonna go with my own kind of rudimentary cleaning here. So you always wanna start with a nice little magic cloth. I'll do one of these Zeiss little lens wipes. We'll do the little green wet wipe first. Peel off this little back here. That was pretty sweet. I didn't see any air bubbles at all, and I've installed many screen protectors before and they always get these tiny little bubbles you gotta rub out, but this one just adhered right to it without any bubbles. Step one of the Fujifilm X100VI upgrades done. Woo! Self 5, let's go. Okay, the next real change that I made was with the camera strap. Normally with video, I just remove the camera strap right away and throw it back in the box and then never look at it again because I just really hate them. But when you're not shooting video and you're mostly doing photography, camera straps make a lot of sense. And the way that I've been using this camera primarily has been for photography. I have taken some video with it. The camera strap that comes with it is totally fine. It says Fujifilm on it. It feels like it's made of real genuine leather and it works totally fine, but these little straps on the end are an absolute pain in the butt to put onto the camera, and it makes it feel like the camera strap is super permanent. Of course, I took it off, threw it to the side, and then I bought my first ever Peak Design camera strap. I've never had a need for this before because I don't do a ton of photography, mostly video. This is one of their like limited edition ones that actually says Fujifilm on it. And I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted to keep that branding that was on the original camera strap. It comes with these little quick disconnects, which you're probably familiar with. It pretty much is what makes Peak Designs so popular, is the ability to take it on and off quickly. You just put one on each side of the camera on these little D-rings, and then you can just simply slide these into place when you're ready to put a camera strap on. Just clicks in like that. And boom, it's ready to go. So you can just throw this on, and if you need to tighten this strap at all, you can just pull on this here and make it shorter. I really like to have mine just hang on the side like this over my shoulder. It feels really comfortable. It stays out of the way. I can slide it behind me so my arm can just rest. It doesn't bump into it. And when I need to use it, I just flip it around and boom, I can take a picture. When you're done and you don't want the camera strap on there anymore, it's really easy to take off. I mean, this is nothing new. I guess I'm probably preaching to the choir here about the Peak Design straps, but again, I'm a newbie to them, so take that off and throw it to the side when you just want the camera bare again. Just had these little danglies there, which is a little bit annoying, but honestly, you get pretty used to them. There's a bunch of new accessories for the Fujifilm X100VI. We're gonna take a look at all the different pieces so you can find out what parts are worth putting on your X100VI, or if you wanna just leave it bare. So the first thing we're gonna look at is this little thumb grip accessory. And I haven't installed all these yet, so it's gonna be kind of a first impressions and first look for me as well. Looks like we've got this little piece that goes into the cold shoe up here and then provides a little grip. So we'll pull out the little cold shoe there and slide this in. Nice tight fit. And then it has kind of a cool design here on top, Try and see if you can zoom in. It looks like a little audio wave. So I guess it's supposed to be kind of like a spot for your thumb to rest against it. So you just kind of hold it like that. Okay, that's fine. I don't know that I need that, but yeah, it feels comfortable. Then we've got this cool little red shutter button. And I've seen these before and I thought it was pretty cool. It adds a little pop of color and it actually has threads on it. And there's threads in the top of the shutter button here. So it's really meant to actually have one of these little buttons added. Here we go, let's try and take a picture. Works fine, no issues. Feels really good. Next, let's take a look at this little L-shaped grip. Looks like it has the Arca Swiss on the bottom, so let's see what this thing looks like. Okay, there it is. Okay, there's a couple little pieces in here. So this one also comes with a little red shutter button and then a little cold shoe protector with that little audio wave on it. And honestly, I've been most excited about this one because I like the minimalistic look of the Fujifilm X100VI and I don't want to add a ton extra to it. So I'm pretty excited because this looks like it's really going to match nicely. This is just this nice rubber grip that honestly looks very, very similar to this in terms of texture. It's almost identical color and feel. And then that silver is almost identical as well. So I think it's gonna blend right in and almost look like it's totally OEM. And it just screws in with 1/4 20 thread, that's it. There we go, really easy to install. I like that. I actually really like that. It adds just a little bit of extra grip to it, so it's that much more comfortable to hold now. It's not like a really thin grip. And it blends in really nicely. You can barely see the seam. It's not really, really obvious that you've added it. And then that bottom extra silver little lip there is of course the Arca Swiss mount. So this is gonna make it really, really easy to slide onto a tripod quickly, especially if you're using Arca Swiss, and then you don't have to add any additional plates, and that keeps the camera even that much more low profile. So here's a little Arca Swiss adapter that I bought, and you can just throw this onto a Manfrotto tripod and then turn it into Arca Swiss. So we'll just put that on and then tighten this down really quick, and boom, it's ready to go. It'll be on top of a tripod. Okay, and throw this little Manfrotto to Arca Swiss adapter on there. And it's really easy to take on and off because it is that Arca Swiss. So boom, like that, I can take it off and start taking photos again, running around, and it doesn't need any additional plate. Whereas normally you would add something like this Manfrotto 502 plate, and it's just really long and obnoxious. So if you had it on there like this, then you see how much it's just sticking out forwards and backwards, and you can't just throw this back onto a camera strap and then have this annoying plate hitting up against your body all the time. Just so far, I think this is the accessory that is absolutely going to live on this camera from now on. Now, if you do want something a little bit more protective, then you can go with the full cage that SmallRig has built for this. So let's take a look at that. Okay. Oh, sweet. And in this one, it looks like they include the same little shutter button and then the cold shoe protector. I can see them in this bag. And let's put on the full cage. So before I put it on, let's take a look at it here. Okay, cool. So this one looks like it has a little bit of a different design. They've gone with a wood grip and it's totally smooth. It's not really grippy at all. Not like the rubberized grip here that kind of matches the body. So that's an interesting look. I think it's maybe kind of an elevated look or something, or vintage look. And then the color of it also is different. You can see that if you did the silver body like I did, which honestly, personally, I think that's the only way to go when you're going with the Fuji X100 line, is to go silver. It's just so classic looking and vintage. Whereas this kind of has a darker, kind of brushed aluminum look with some gold on it as well. Let's throw this on. And then it's 1/4 20 screw on the bottom as well. It's a little bit more than a half cage. It's kind of like a 2/3 cage or something. But yeah, this feels good. Nice grip here. Definitely gives you a lot more space to grip onto the camera with this little wood grip here. And we've got cutouts here for focus controls. And then there's another little spot here with 1/4 20 threads and little locating pins. And there's also a little cold shoe adapter here. So if you wanted another spot to mount something like a microphone, you can throw the little wireless Pro on there from Rode, and that's nice, keeps it really low profile. So I like that. There's of course another one up here on the top, cold shoe mount. So you could throw other microphones, a light, whatever it is, accessories right there on the top. On the very top of the cage, looks like we've got 2 1/4 threads and then a 3/8 thread with area locating pins. So this is for something like mounting a monitor. Okay, here it is. So let's get this back out of the way. So I've got this little SmallRig monitor mount that I bought a couple years ago and pretty much use it to mount all my monitors. And so it'll go perfectly right here on the top of the cage. So it's the 3/8 thread with area locating pins. Just locks in like that. Nice. Okay. Okay, it's not perfectly tight. It's just not cinching down. I think that this little bolt isn't going in deep enough into the cage to keep this from rattling, which is kind of annoying because I think that's why they built this. So might be something we need to look into a little bit further. But if that wouldn't rattle, I would normally just throw a monitor on top here. And this would definitely be only a setup that I would use for doing video. I wouldn't throw a monitor on top for doing photography. Let's look at a couple other features of the cage, like the Arca Swiss plate on the bottom. So it's the same as this L bracket one. I think if you need something a little bit more protective and you're gonna do some video work, then I'd probably go with the full cage. But for me, normally because I'm doing photography, I think I'm gonna stick with this little L bracket just so that I have more of a grip and that Arca Swiss, but I don't add much else to it when I'm just throwing it on a camera strap. The final accessory SmallRig has built for the Fujifilm X100VI is this little carrying case. And this I'm definitely interested in. I'm not sure if it's something that I would normally use, but let's take a look. Look at that. Big leather box. Okay, what do we got here? Another little strap. You can see it kind of has a little form factor of a camera itself, all pressed into this nice leather with stitching. And let's see how this thing opens up. Okay, it's magnetic. Get this foam out of there. Okay, that's kind of cool. So magnetizes shut. It's nice. Definitely feels really sturdy. It's going to protect the lens really nice. Let's see how it actually mounts inside. So looks like there's a 1/4 thread, similar to each of the cages that just had 1 1/4 thread to hold it in place. So this is interesting. I haven't seen a case like this before that actually threads into it. Normally just kind of throws it into the case. So, oh, okay. So Velcro's open on the bottom so you can actually do this. Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay, so this is like an extra hard shell here. So far this is pretty cool. It's a lot different than I thought. But look at that. That's kind of a cool vintage look. Just a little bit of leather on the bottom. I like that. You get a leather strap, kind of similar to the one that comes with it from Fujifilm, but it's got this little extra shoulder piece here with just a tiny bit of padding. So you can see how that hangs with just that little kind of leather pouch. Feels pretty secure. You know, it's got that extra 1/4 thread in the bottom to kind of keep it in position. See how it looks just hanging on the back there. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. And it's definitely useful, obviously, for just quickly, you know, hanging the camera, pulling it up, taking a picture. And of course, it's got that extra protective layer here with this little leather box. So let's see how this works. It's magnetic and it Velcroed on, so let's see how that works. There we go. Then let this flip around. It definitely gives it a good amount of extra protection there. Nothing from the back, the front, or even the sides is really going to affect it here. I don't know if it's totally my style, carrying it in this kind of extra leather bulky pouch, but if you want that extra protection and maybe you're traveling a lot with this, it's not bad. Obviously, you're not going to take pictures with it inside of this. So when you take it off, it's kind of like, okay, where do you put this? I'm not going to flip it down and take pictures and just kind of have it hanging there. That's kind of awkward to take a picture like this. So I think when you're ready to take a picture, you want to just take this off, but then where do you put it? Especially if you're traveling on the road, I would just usually travel with it like this, take a picture, put it back down. I wouldn't normally be like, all right, I'm done. Let me put the big protective case back onto it now that I'm done shooting, especially when I'm kind of running and gunning. I think this might be a really great solution for some people because it is so protective and it still has a really nice style to it. But for my type of shooting, I just don't think it's something that I would be using. One problem I can see with this strap is that there's no length adjustment. So if you want it to hang up tighter on your body or looser, you can't actually change that. So I would probably take this back off and just go to the Peak Design strap, to be honest. Now, I forgot to mention that if you do need to change the battery, this is not totally sealed off. This little piece actually flaps down and then you can get to your battery door and actually open it up and do a quick battery swap. I'm really trying to keep that really minimal look with my Fujifilm and make it fun to do photography. But if you need something a little bit more protective and you're doing video work, I'd say the half cage is the way to go. And if you like the aesthetic of this full leather case, then that's a great option too. Hopefully you found something that's useful for your X100VI. Check out the links in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.